Hi, so as the title of the video states, this is going to be a bit of an apology because of things that I insinuated and I said in a previous video of mine. And that video was one talking about Tekkenmods and Bandai Namco copyright striking Tekkenmods. Now, a couple of things I want to make clear is that I still stand by most of what I said in the video. The problem is who I directed the blame towards. At the time, and I still believe this now, I think it would have been fair to put blame on Harada and Murray along with the rest of Bandai Namco for the whole fiasco that ensued from that. However, I think I was a little bit too harsh and I was a little bit too presumptuous with assigning blame for the entire issue, and that's why I've privated the video. And I want to make something else clear too before I get into this section of the video. This is going to be an apology, but it's also going to be informing you why Harada and Murray aren't to blame for that whole incident that we all probably still very clearly remember, and that I do have a lot of admiration for Harada and Murray. It's one of the reasons I didn't want to make the video in the first place, which I said at the beginning. I didn't want to make the video, and it's because I do think that Harada and Murray are good developers. Despite what people will say, they're good developers, they're good producers. I think that they're good representations of Tekken. I think that to say otherwise is very ignorant of what they do, what they're doing for the game and the series, despite the fact that, yeah, myself and others are going to have disagreements with what they do, what they say, how they think about the game and the series. I still think that they do a lot of good for the game, and that's why one of the reasons I feel it's important to make this video is because I don't want to slander them in any capacity if they aren't deserving of it. And I also feel it's important for me to own up to my mistakes when I make them. So the video that is in question here is this one called Bandai Namco's Copyright Striking Tekken Creators and I'm Furious. Pretty much everything that I said in this video I still stand by. It's the main problem is directing blame at Harada and Murray when instead the blame should have been directed towards Bandai Namco themselves. To give you a little bit of background on the whole incident, because it's been a couple of months, basically what happened is Bandai Namco started issuing copyright strikes to a legacy mod for June that gave June her Tekken Tag 2 Player 1 outfit before it became a mod in Tekken 8. And the mod was made before it was even announced as being something that would be part of the Tekken shop. It was before the Tekken shop even existed. And then going further, Bandai Namco also put copyright strikes on some YouTube channels, including IMOP and Umin, a very, very talented mod creator who makes stuff like, if you've seen a lot of my videos with Yoshimitsu, makes the Soul Calibur 6 Yoshimitsu mod, things like that. And Bandai Namco copyright striked him so many times that his YouTube channel was deleted, his Twitter was deleted because they copyright striked his Twitter account, among various other things. And one of the reasons I was so mad about this is because these are people that are providing something both for the community and for the game. They're basically free marketing for the game. They're providing content to the community. By giving that content to the community, it's getting people interested in the game, it's getting people watching the game, etc., etc. And doing this arbitrarily with no announcement, no discussion or anything really feels like a slap in the face to any content creator that makes Tekken stuff. So originally when I made this video, I did point blame at Bandai Namco, but of course a lot of that blame went to Harada and Murray because they are, of course, the lead of the Tekken Project. So in my mind, a lot of the responsibility for these kind of things happening falls to them. They should be in communication with the people that issue these strikes, that issue these copyright takedown notices, and in turn, they are one of the most responsible parties when things like this happen, and there should be pressure on them to give statements, especially when there's absolutely no communication whatsoever on why these things are happening. However, it's become clear at this point, a couple of months after, that this had nothing to do with anyone in the Tekken team, including Harada, including Murray, and it has everything to do with Bandai Namco, and there's not really anything Harada or Murray could have done about it, even if they wanted to. And the reason why I know this is because about a month ago, I noticed that in my Twitch VODs, the audio was starting to get muted. And I thought, that's weird. Why is the audio in my VOD for Tekken 8 getting muted? And I look over here thinking, oh, well, maybe it's just some like bot or something that's muting the audio and I can just appeal it. However, if I go to appeal muted audio, you can see that Bandai Namco is now muting audio for VODs on Twitch that are using Tekken 8 music. And it's not just this VOD, it's also this VOD. It's even when I played Elden Ring, you can see that music in Elden Ring is getting muted, and then here as well. And so if you've watched any of my streams recently, you may have noticed that I've changed all of the audio I'm using in the game from anything that's not Tekken 8, even though I do like the music in Tekken 8, because I don't want my VODs getting muted, and it's only muting Tekken 8 music for some reason. Obviously, this muting is an extension of these takedown notices because it has to do with Namco's copyright and legal department, and it's also in relation to Tekken. And so clearly this is the doing of whatever entity was causing all of those issues in the past. And the real smoking gun to tell us that this had nothing to do with the Tekken Project is that this even occurs in Tekken's Twitch channel's own VODs. So yes, you can see that for this Tekken World Tour stream from the official Tekken channel, their own Twitch VOD has been muted from their own copyright. So clearly there's something going on within Bandai Namco with all of this copyright business with Tekken 8 that is very disjointed from the entire Tekken team. Because if there was any shred of competence in Bandai Namco's legal team, this is not something that would happen. It's fairly trivial, from what I understand, to be able to associate a channel with music that you have created and copyrighted, especially when, again, this audio that is being muted is coming directly from Bandai Namco and the Tekken Project. So there is someone who is incredibly incompetent in Bandai Namco's legal department that is the cause for all of this happening. Even with the appeal, you can see that I can make the appeal reason I have created the music and own all rights. So it would be very easy if they wanted to create an appeal for this muted audio and then approve it themselves because, well, they are Bandai Namco after all. This incompetence from Bandai Namco's legal team is further exemplified from this notice that Bandai Namco sent to Tekkenmods a couple of months ago in relation to a mod that was being hosted on Tekkenmods and telling them it was infringement of the copyright and to take it off of the website. The legal notice is trying to insinuate that Tekkenmods was using Tekken's copyright images, logos, and other content without having prior written authorization, which is intended to attract internet users to their website, and by using Bandai Namco's intellectual property, falsely suggesting that Bandai Namco has endorsed Tekkenmods. Now, clearly, if you've been on Tekkenmods once in your entire life, you know that this notice is complete nonsense. This isn't even remotely true. This came from someone that has absolutely no idea what they're talking about. They said that they demanded to immediately remove all Tekken copyright images, logos are visible, or concealed text within the website at this mod. But Tekkenmods doesn't use Tekken's copyrighted content. It only uses its name, and there's a disclaimer at the bottom of the website. It says they're not affiliated with Bandai Namco. And we also know that the Tekken team is fully aware of Tekkenmods as a website, and they have been far before, many years before this notice. So this entire document was clearly made by what it says is Bandai Namco brand protection, but someone who has absolutely no idea what they're talking about, which is probably the reason why we again had those takedown notices and why VODs on Tekken's own channel are getting muted. Then we even have a response from Harada about this happening. This was happening with both Tekken and Street Fighter, and Harada made a tweet here, and what he said is that the game development team, so the Tekken Project, is not doing the copyright strikes. They're not checking the copyright. Harada's basically saying here that Bandai Namco outsourced all of this legal business to a third party, and clearly that third party has very, very clearly screwed up a lot. And Bandai Namco doesn't care because they haven't appealed the audio that's been muted on their own Twitch VOD. So basically what's happening here is the Tekken Project has nothing to do with it. Bandai Namco sent out these legal goons from a third party who have no affiliation with Bandai Namco, I assume, and don't know what the hell they're doing or what they're talking about or anything that they should be doing, and just hit the full nuclear button and took down YouTube channels, gave copyright strikes to important community members for absolutely no reason, which is destroying the trust of the community members in Bandai Namco, sending completely frivolous notices of infringement to a third party that is not infringing on Bandai Namco's copyright at all, and they've known about this website for years. And now all of that blame is coming back to the Tekken team, and Bandai Namco is basically shoving their fingers in their ears and going, la 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 la, we don't care, we've already paid the money, it's too much work to reverse any of the problems we have, so just deal with it. And that's why we still have stuff like this. Harada also basically confirms that this is what's happening because Harada says down here that the combo breaker audio was muted, and he says the development team contacted the department in charge of each country region and requests that the restrictions are lifted. But as we can clearly see, it's been a month and that hasn't happened. So whoever they're contacting, or if they're talking to Bandai Namco, the Tekken Project is talking to Bandai Namco, they clearly just don't care. They don't care. So the Tekken team takes all of the blame for it. The Tekken team has to deal with the headache for it. The Tekken team is the one that's at fault according to everyone, in the eyes of everyone. And Bandai Namco doesn't have to care because they're a bunch of businessmen who are out of touch with the gaming industry, and fixing it wouldn't help their profits and it would cost them money. This is also something that's further confirmed because of this long tweet that was given out by Harada the other day, which I'm going to go into on stream, not in this video. But basically Harada does say that, yeah, the executives at Bandai Namco don't understand the gaming industry. They don't understand what their own employees want in Tekken Project, the Project Soul, or anything that's gaming related. They just sit there and make money. And they don't really know what the hell's going on in their own company, but they're pointing fingers and they're making decisions when they really shouldn't be. And this whole copyright fiasco that happened a couple of months ago and is seemingly still going on to an extent is an extension of how out of touch Bandai Namco executives are within their own company. And I think it's very important to point this out because, again, while Bandai Namco is to blame here, it's clear from what's going on here, what Harada has said here and here, that the Tekken Project isn't to blame for this. The Tekken Project, Harada, Michael Murray, and the development team have gone through the steps to try to reverse this and to try to make things right. And Bandai Namco just doesn't care. They refuse to do anything. They refuse to get off their ass and to actually correct the problem. They don't care about Tekken. They don't care about people who are fans of Tekken. They don't care about people who make content for Tekken. They don't care about people who make mods for Tekken. They don't care about people who give them free marketing when they don't do any marketing themselves because they're too lazy and cheap to do it. All they care about is money. They see Tekken and the Tekken series, and all they see is dollar signs. And we see that with the Fight Pass. We see that with microtransactions. We see that with the god-awful DLC with Eddie and the cost of Eddie and the season pass and not being able to lab him and all of that stuff. Bandai Namco doesn't care. They don't care. They don't care about their own employees. They don't care about the developers. They don't care about what the Tekken team wants. They don't care about what Harada wants. They don't care about what Michael Murray wants. They don't care about what we as fans want. They don't care about the content creators. They don't care about anything. All they care about is money and spending as little of it as possible. And damn the consequences. And if the Tekken team ends up taking flack for that, as they have been with this fiasco and the microtransactions and everything else I talked about, it's irrelevant to them. And I think that is absolutely disgusting. However, Problem is, by not supporting Bandai Namco because of stuff like this, which normally I would say is what we should do, we're not supporting the Tekken Project when they deserve it. And clearly, Bandai Namco has such an apathetic attitude towards what we as consumers say that if we choose to speak with our wallet, Bandai Namco isn't going to interpret that as something that they're doing wrong. They're going to interpret that as something that Harada, Michael Murray, and the rest of the Tekken team are doing wrong. And that's when Tekken starts going the same way as Soul Calibur. So what we as players, as content creators, as people who like the game and talk about the game need to do is, instead of blaming the Tekken team for these things that are happening because clearly it's not their fault, we instead need to focus the blame on Bandai Namco and their executives because they're the ones to blame. Change isn't going to come by yelling at Harada and Michael Murray about the decisions that are happening with Tekken 8. They're doing everything that they can. And for what it's worth, they've made a great game that has a lot of fundamental flaws. Change might only come if we start directing the blame towards those who deserve it, which is Bandai Namco. And so I want to finish this video in a similar way that I finished the last one, except I want to redirect the blame and focus it solely on the party that is responsible for not only this mess, but all of the problems, for the most part, that have occurred in the lifespan of Tekken 8 so far. Fuck you, Bandai Namco.